Many of you are very talented, but if you really want to wow me today, you're going to have to show something extra. Little thing I've coined heart.
I think his mom, drank when she was pregnant or something.
Attaboy, JD. Hustle, hustle.
I believe in you, JD. Don't listen to those motherfuckers.
I know your heart's on the football field, but I need your head in history class, Mr. Vance.
Yes, Vance, yes.
That stupid freak will never make the team. He's a loser.
Fuck you, Gavin. You and your dad are both gay.
Damn it, Vance, I wish I had 100 of you. If only you could get those godforsaken test scores up.
If you ask a hot chick to prom, I'll give you a C because history smiles upon the bold.
Asking me for my permission to ask my daughter to prom is a really classy move.
Vance past history. Now let's go beat the shit out of the Soros High Goblins.
Yo, it's Me got baby face, me big boss man. Me like America, me got good plan. Mexico water, make Gulf US obey. Me make Zelensky say thanks to my face. Me got baby face, me got big cheer. Trump bad, Trump good, me no care. Me write big book, kill billies and stuff. Now me important, we're tired tough. Me go Yale school, me learn big word. Now me forget everything me heard. Silicon people give me job, me take. Now me like Trump, me make no mistake. Yo, it's JD Advance. Me fight walk folk, me say never die. Me protect kids, me born liberal. Him, them, there. America simple, only two gender. Me face, me big boss man. Me like America, me got good plan. Mexico water, make Gulf US obey. Me make Zelensky say thanks to my face.
Too many gender for my agenda. Went on a bender, execo the sender. Might take Panama just like na. Might take Gaza, pop then a plaza.
With this my majesty.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome in to CobraCast 199. I am your host, Jeremy Prime, Mage IDOT of Unit 199. Happy to see all of you here on a Monday, day after my birthday. That's right, we survived. So it's still my birthday month. At least that's what Beardo and Jay say, is they grift their entire month. So hey, it is what it is. But anyway, good to see all of you here. And we got a packed day. There's a lot going on. Trump just announced a press conference for 5:30 today. I'll probably cover that later on the second stream. But yeah, good stuff. And many of you are asking about that intro. And the intro that the JD Vance, Rudy intro is this account right here. Maverick Alexander. He's the original creator of it. So if you go check him out on Twitter, you should be able to find it. There, it's pinned right there. So right there. So it's got, how many views did it get? Almost 4 million views, man. So, but yeah, that's the account right there. You guys can follow him. He makes great meme edits. So credit where credit is due. There we have it. But good to see all of you here. Let me see. We got Marmillan says pre-stream chat grift tax. Always here. Marmillan, consistent as always. Thank you. Little Jim Salos says, so Atari can own a home worth millions. Sadly, yes. CG says post-birthday tax. Thank you. And we did do a gaming stream last night. That was really fun. That was the first time in over 2 months that I've done a gaming stream on my gaming channel. And that was a lot of fun, man. We got to do that more often. Hell, I might do it tonight. I might run it back tonight. Had so much fun. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. I'll see if the guys are available again tonight, but that was a lot of fun. So, but anyway, we do have stuff to talk about. In fact, here's a quick update from the situation over in the Middle East right here. Hezbollah is targeting Israel with new missile barrage right here.
And experience on full display in the Middle East. The U.S. military's Operation Epic Fury pushing forward in Iran. Central Command announcing U.S. forces hit more than 3,000 targets in the first full week. Israel is now unleashing a new round of attacks on targets inside Iran and Lebanon. The Israeli Defense Force focusing on the infrastructure of the Iranian terror regime. I'm Harris Faulkner. You are in the Faulkner Focus. CENTCOM posted this video of the U.S. Air Force at work. The caption, the sound of American warfighting dominance. New satellite images from Iran showing heavy damage from U.S. and Israeli aerial attacks. And Iran's fighting capabilities under heavy fire now. Black smoke rising from burning ships and damaged facilities at a naval base in the southern part of the country. And the U.S. and Israel also taking out Iranian warplanes at an air base in that same area. Look at what's left. Scorched earth and debris. All that's left of the bombed aircraft. General Jack Keane.
It's quite remarkable how close to the plan that we are executing. With stunning results, to be quite frank about it. The Israelis are hitting all of those other targets I mentioned with the U.S. But what the Israelis are doing exclusively is attacking the organization. All the organizations that...
Is that Mari Povich? Holy crap. Now that was a funny comment, Chef Davis. Yes, this is Mari Povich. Mari Povich is no longer doing the parental you are or not the father. He is now a Fox News commentator. He is a strategic analyst for Fox News. Mari Povich, a man of many talents.
Sustain this regime, Mark, they are systematically and deliberately taken down here.
An entire street erupted as buildings in the capital city of Tehran were attacked by Israel. The IDF going after several oil depots over the weekend. Meanwhile, Iranian leaders have named Mojtaba Khamenei, the son of Iran's late supreme leader, as the successor. And you see the younger Khamenei is even more of a hardliner than his brutal father.
And we're going to talk about that in just a minute because President Trump has issued a statement on this. But we do have a new supreme leader in Iran, which is the son of the former supreme leader. And the word is he's worse than his dad.
Fox News correspondents are covering the story from every angle, multiple locations: London, Istanbul, Turkey, Israel, Armenia, and Dubai. We are bringing you the very latest developments as this conflict unfolds minute by minute. Lieutenant Colonel Darren Gobb will come up with me in focus in just a bit. Chief National Correspondent Jennifer Griffin with new information out of CENTCOM right now. But first, let's go to Chief Foreign Correspondent Trey Yingst. Okay, he's inside a safety area. We'll talk with you for just a bit, as long as you can, Trey.
Harris, I've got you.
Normally, whenever these reporters do this, I feel like it's overselling, but I mean, I don't think that that's the case with him at all. Like, this isn't like the Weather Channel where you see the meteorologists are like acting like the wind is blowing them over, and then you've got people walking behind them and they're like, what is this guy doing? So I actually think he's legit.
Yeah, Harris, I've got you. We had a report prepared for you on Iran's new supreme leader. Suddenly, sirens just sounded across Israel's second largest city of Tel Aviv. This was some of the heaviest incoming fire that we have seen in recent days. And just given the fact that there was no early alert is an indication that this fire, and my producer just now is telling me, came from Lebanon. So Hezbollah launching at least one missile at Tel Aviv. And again, they still have these long-range capabilities. We're going to get you this video we were rolling as this attack was taking place. And we could just see about 5 or 6 different interceptor rounds, Harris, soar through the air to try to take down this incoming fire that was coming directly from southern Lebanon. Again, just an indication of the threats that this country faces. And as they are looking to see what comes next on the ground in Iran, following the news overnight that a new supreme leader was chosen, Mustafa Khamenei, the son of Iran's former supreme leader who was killed in the opening strikes of Operation Epic Fury.
Are you guys, some of you are telling me that there's reports that he's been injured. I haven't seen that yet. I'm not saying it's not true. I'm just saying I haven't seen that. So we'll see. I'll look that up. But has that been confirmed? Have you guys seen if that's been confirmed? Because I have not seen that.
Harris?
Yeah, you know what? I've been reading about him, and
he's not injured. The boy is dead. What boy? Daily Mail reporting. Daily Mail is 50-50 on that.
I know that this is an odd detail, but someone alerted me to the fact that it was so entrenched that he's the new leader that Wikipedia updated their page. And when I went there, I realized there was this warning, well, more like an informational graph, saying that this could change due to an event. I would assume that's the war on Iran right now. But what do we know about this younger son? And I know his family was hit in some of the strikes that we put on their military leaders, us and Iran. I mean, us and Israel.
Yeah, Harris, absolutely. Reports indicate that his wife and his mother and one son were killed, in addition to his father, in the U.S. and Israeli strikes that targeted the capital of Tehran. Mustafa Khamenei is considered a hardliner. He was largely seen as the shadow prince of Iran. He was the gatekeeper for his father. He studied at Qom Seminary just south of Tehran, where many of the Shia clerics are studying in order to become leaders inside of Iran. And given the fact that he was closely following in the footsteps of his father, he was actually one of the leading forces behind the scenes, according to reports that led the crackdown on protesters inside of Iran, not just earlier this year, but also during the Green Movement protests in 2009. And so that is part of the reason that President Trump said he would not be happy if he's chosen as the next supreme leader. And again, he is considered just the next step in succession to his father, who obviously for the
word supreme leader, like that title is just so laughable. It sounds like a video game or a fantasy story. I mean, you're already not taken seriously if you're called supreme leader Snoke. Like, get the hell out of here.
Past several decades has been building up a regime that has threatened U.S. forces and allies across the region.
What do we know? And I know you gave us a little bit there. So the IRGC and part of the military and all of that. But what do we know about his acumen in that area? I mean, is that why we're seeing a ramp up yet almost like a second try at all this, even though we've killed their Navy capacity, so they don't have that?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, the American and Israeli strikes against the Iranian regime have decimated the military structure of this country so far. They have systematically taken out their...
Yeah, I mean, if you really want to get my attention, Iran, call him Cobra Commander. I mean, at that point, I'm like, okay, I can get on board with this, or Serpentor, Like, I'm okay with that. Supreme leader, like I'm supposed to take you seriously?
Communication and command systems that allow officials in Tehran to communicate with their military in the field. And so they built their military around this, planning for this mosaic defense. But the reality is, as these strikes continue, we can expect more of Iran's leadership to be taken out. And it makes it very challenging for Iran to fight for long periods of time. They say that they are prepared for a months-long war. The reality will be quite different, despite the fact that there is still incoming fire from Iran itself, the ballistic missiles that soar through the skies of this country. Earlier today, one person was killed in central Israel, and the fire that we just saw now from Hezbollah. It is a military that will continue to be depleted in the days ahead.
Now, we do have this right here, like an update of sorts from the one and only President Trump. So right here, Trump issues chilling warning to Iran's new Ayatollah. And here is the information on this new Ayatollah, this new Supreme Leader Snoke.
So right now, growing questions about the future of Iran as the terror regime names the Ayatollah's son as its new supreme leader. He's a hardline cleric, widely considered more radical than his dad.
President Trump warning, quote, he's going to have to get approval from us. If he doesn't get approval from us, he's not going to last long.
Like, Trump is so savage. He's going to have to get approval from us. If he doesn't get approval from us, he's not going to last long. Boom. That's what I voted for right there. That's 100% what I voted for. Dougie B for 50 says petition for CobraCast to rename Supreme Leader of Iran to Grand Poobah of Iran moving forward. Hey, you know what? Grand Poobah of Iran. I like that. Grand Poobah. I did like calling him Supreme Leader Snoke because, I mean, obviously, Supreme Leader Snoke was such an absolute joke. But I am okay with that too. Grand Poobah. I like it. I like it. What's up, Doug? Hail to you.
Former ambassador at large and counterterrorism coordinator Nathan Sales served in the State Department in President Trump's first term, and he joins us now. Nathan, thanks so much for joining the program. So we had a lot of experts on, and they've been across, other networks as well. And many of the people following this didn't think that they were going to choose the son. They got it wrong. Why do you think?
Well, I think the Iranian regime is doubling down on its failed strategy of trying to defy and wage war on the United States and the West.
That sounds a lot like Democrats doubling down on failed strategies. That is a Democratic, that is a template of the Democratic Party right now. The Democratic Party is sitting there going, hey, guys, okay, so we've attacked Trump and his supporters for over a decade now, and it has completely flopped over and over again. So what should we continue doing? Sir, I think we should continue to attack Trump and his supporters with identity politics. Hey, that's a great idea. Let's do that. Sounds like a Democrat.
This is an establishment choice. He may not have been the consensus frontrunner, but picking the son of the old leader signals continuity. And it's very much a meet the new boss, same as the old boss type situation. One other thing to emphasize about this new guy, he has very strong ties to the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, the sort of shock troops of the Iranian regime and its exporter of revolutionary ideology around the region. Of course, that's just formalizing what has always been the case. The IRGC has long been the power behind the throne when it comes to the Iranian regime. So this just sort of brings that role out of the shadows and into the spotlight.
I know you've talked about the three goals, which is the nuclear weapons, make sure they don't have nuclear weapons, the ballistic missile threat, and the terror.
Joe says, I vote Kathleen Kennedy as the new Supreme Leader. Dude, Trump, listen to me. Joe Zone in my chat has a great idea. If you truly want Iran and their regime to fail, put Kathleen Kennedy in charge. This is the most guaranteed way to have the current regime in Iran fail. Put Kathleen Kennedy in charge. I promise you, It won't take any time at all, and it will fail miserably. All right. That is a damn good choice right there. The Iran is female. Yeah.
Proxies. This is what the New York Times is saying about about Iran being able to retrieve their uranium. They say American intelligence agencies have determined that Iran or potentially another group could retrieve Iran's primary store of highly enriched uranium, even though it was entombed under the country's nuclear site at Isfahan.
All right. Even these Fox News people that pre-read everything, even they're struggling with some of this shit. So here's how I would do it. Under the country's nuclear site, some bullshit fucking place in the Middle East by U.S. strikes last year. Like, that's how I would say it. Like, some dog shit place in the Middle East. Who cares?
U.S. striker site of highly enriched uranium, even though it was entombed under the country's nuclear site at Isfahan by U.S. strikes last year. Officials familiar with the intelligence said that Iran can now get to the uranium through a very narrow access point. What's your reaction to that? We don't want them to have access to this.
Well, it sounds like the military just added another target to the list.
Right here, I saw Red Mage says, would you really want the title position of Supreme Leader since it usually implies that you're next in line to get blasted? Same goes for the next person after. Well, again, so you have to understand when you are, anointed the Supreme Leader in terms of what they have in their own mind. They believe that they are a religious figure and that they believe that if they carry out their duties, that they will then go on to get 72 Reddit virgins. And yes, that's what happens when they die. First, they have this assumption that they're going to have 72, virgins that are women. But in reality, what happens is they get 72 fat Reddit losers that were virgins. That's what they end up with in the afterlife. And they end up being disappointed, clearly. And so that's what happens. And so I think at some point in time they're gonna catch on, because if they actually are told like, hey, those fat losers that are on Reddit all day crying, yeah, you get 72 of them guys, and they're gonna be like, well, fuck, that's a bad deal,
The Iranians are going to keep trying at this.
No offense to our CobraCast community on Reddit, by the way, or our Geeks and Gamers community. No offense to you guys. You guys are chads. You guys are slaying pussy all day long. Everybody else on Reddit's a virgin, but you guys are chads.
The reason why this war started is because of their determination to preserve a pathway to a bomb. So it shouldn't surprise us at all that they're going to do what they can to recover access to their highly enriched uranium. But we have a play here as well, and that is the same play that we made last June when we targeted the nuclear weapons program. We can drop a couple of bombs on that target, I imagine, and make it pretty difficult to excavate that uranium.
Well, that would certainly help. So Ali Larajani says, we're going to relentlessly avenge the blood.
Holy shit. Mr. Flibble says, this guy kind of looks like Ryan Kennel, but older and less angry. He kind of does. Holy crap. He kind of does. Damn. Now that's on point right there. That is on point.
Of our leader and our people, meaning the Ayatollah. Trump must pay and will pay. Trump came back and says, I have no idea who this guy is, who they're talking about. What is your take on the bravado we're still getting from them? Even though they've been devastated, we're moving past Tehran now into the heartland, targeting the IRGC in all 31 provinces.
Well, I think part of this is for a domestic audience. I think the regime is afraid for its life, and it's trying to signal to Iranian citizens that they're still in charge and they're still in control. I don't think the Iranian people believe it. We saw hundreds of thousands of people out in the street last January, in response to which tens of thousands were murdered by regime goons. So I think this is partly a play for the regime to convince a very doubtful Iranian public that they're still calling the shots.
Wow. Nathan Sales, thanks so much.
Thank you, Nathan.
I'm Steve Doocy. I'm Brian Kilmeade.
All right. So, I mean, at this point in time, we're just watching all of this play out. And, the meltdown online has been pretty fantastic. And it's continuing on right now. And it's kind of showing you who's who out there. It shows you who the panicans are and who the people are that are truly supporters. And again, I've said many times, like on the surface, I'm not thrilled about us being involved in this, international conflict. I don't love it on the surface, but I also believe that there's a lot more that we don't fully understand that Trump is trying to do. And there's a lot more to it that I'm willing to, give them an opportunity to work that out. But you have emotionally weak people that are just going to lash out because they don't understand. Again, I'll repeat what I've said many times, but social media in this world of TikTok and YouTube shorts, with Amazon Prime and all of that, like our brains have been rewired to where everybody needs an instant return on everything. They need instant results. They have no idea how to wait for anything. They have no idea how anything develops. They have no idea that just because you have the surface level information, it doesn't mean that you have the details involved. And so everybody is just about like, boom, I need results right now. Why is this happening? Oh, this must be happening because X, Y, and Z. It's fucking crazy. And so there's a lot more to it. That unfortunately does not fly very well on social media. What does fly very well is that Trump has abandoned MAGA, and he's abandoned his voters, even though he's been talking about Iran since 1980. It's ridiculous, but it is what it is. We're going to continue to see more and more of that playing out, and nothing we can do about it. Quick reminder, tomorrow night is the last of the CobraCast hoodie and the MegaCon t-shirt. So if you have not gone over to Rip Us In, which is in the pinned post, you can go get those right now. Tomorrow night at midnight ends. It's done. It's over. We'll send these bad boys out. Hopefully we'll see some of you. This is the hoodie that I'm wearing. We'll have that through Rip Us In. So hopefully you will check that out. And when they're gone, at least for the foreseeable future. So, but yeah, links are in the comment section. Also, another thing too is that our panel is set for MegaCon March 21st. We will be there at 10:15 a.m. and with the crew, me, Gary, Drinker, Ripa, Ryan, and the whole crew's going to be there. They're going to be in the audience. Then we're having our meetup that night at 7:30 at Pat O'Brien's. So it's going to be a huge weekend. I can't wait. We also have stuff going on. I will say this much. So we have an article on geeksgamers.com that's going to break down all of the details for people that are curious about what all is happening. As a matter of fact, I think this is the article. Hang on, where's the article at on geeksgamers.com talking about this? Because it'll continue to be updated. The article over there talking about the scheduled meetups and everything like that. So right here, if you go over there, me and Gary will be at the Ripaverse booth on Thursday from 4 to 5:30. That's March 19th. Chrissy Mayer's comedy show, Saturday meetups and stuff. And I think that Jay and Beardo and X-Wing are supposed to be at the Ripaverse booth. We're going to get that updated as well. So there's going to be a lot going on the entire week. And our meetup is completely sold out. And when I say sold out, I mean the RSVPs are all accounted for. It was free, so I can't believe that we are at a place now where we have that many people that are going to show up to the meetup. It's going to be crazy. And I can't wait. It's going to be awesome. As it stands right now, there is a ticketed event at Universal Studios Friday night. And I believe a lot of us are going to be at that ticketed event at Universal Studios. It's an after hours event for Universal Studios. So I believe I know like me and Ryan and Gary and Jay and probably Beardo and several other people are all planning on being there. So, and many more. I don't want to speak for everybody at this point in time, but a lot of us are going to be at that ticketed event. So looking forward to seeing you guys hanging out there. It's just going to be a lot of fun. So it's going to be a huge weekend, and we do appreciate all of you for showing up and being there as we, hang out with all the peeps. So Friday night is so much fun. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. 199 a ticket. Wow. Yes. Cam Man says you might even be able to see me there. Look at there. Even Cam Man might be there. Eric K, you going to be here? You going to be here, Eric K? I don't know if you're going to make it out. He probably has already told me and I just forgot. So, Laughing Man says Jay said Thursday night after you and Gary, he would be at the booth. Okay. Got it. Yeah, we'll get that updated in the article as soon as we can. Jessica will be there. All right, look at there, man. Eric K can't make it. Well, fuck him. Anyway, was that mean? That was probably mean. I don't apologize. I don't apologize at all. One thing that President Trump is doing right now is he is going ham on the Save America Act. He is absolutely going off on this, saying that he's not going to sign any new legislation until we get this pushed through. And I'll be honest with you, I think the Save America Act right now is far more important than anything else that's going on, because if we do not get this done, might as well kiss everything goodbye, because Trump ain't going to be here forever to protect us from the Democrats allowing illegal immigrants to overrun our country. So if we don't get this Save America Act passed, that to me is the most important thing. And right here, all voters must show voter ID. All voters must show proof of citizenship in order to vote. No mail-in ballots, with the exception of illness, disability, military, or travel. No men and women's sports, and no transgender mutilation surgery for children. This is the single most important issue going on right now. And Trump is doubling and tripling and quadrupling down on this, as he should be. And I'm very happy that he is putting so much energy behind it. It's just absolutely nuts. And let me see if I can find, there was one other thing related to this, if I can find it. Doubt I'll be able to find it right now. It was from Trump, but this was a couple of days ago, and it's probably lost with everything. Well, maybe not on the Save America Act, but there is more to that. I'll see if I can find it. But also today, Trump will hold a news conference at 5:30 Eastern. I will cover that later on my second stream tonight. 47 keeping busy while away from the White House. We don't know the specifics of this one, at least at the time of when I pulled this up. There may be more updates that's come in the past 20 minutes, but we don't know the specifics around this one yet. So that's where we are. Let me catch up on a few super chats really quickly. I got that one. Mark of Reality says, welcome to the JD Advance cast, everyone. Little Jim Taylor says, did you see Trump call out Australian government? I did. Keenan says, did you watch Nick News on Nickelodeon? Back in the day, yeah, I did. CG says, Trey Yinks, got to give him credit. Dude has brass balls. What's the over-under of the new leader meeting the same fate as the old leader, and how long he lasts? I don't think he's got very good chances at this point in time, especially if he's going to be disrespectful to Trump publicly. Aberjam says, happy late birthday, forklift accredited guy. Look at there. And Jeanette says, happy birthday to the Mage Fig of the 199. I hope your day is filled with spoils and the Lord blesses you with many more. I will make tomorrow night one extra cringe. Let's go. And a gifted membership from Ann Jeanette. Thank you. Bill Herr, who dropped 5 gifted memberships. Thank you. Also says, Trump has urged my country of Australia to give asylum to the Iranian women's soccer team. I, for one, am not against that. I will be happy to allow all Iranian women. Yeah, I think that would probably make a lot of people happy. I mean, again, maybe I'm crazy for thinking that. All right. But I have a feeling. And again, you tell me. All right. So I think you would approve, right?
It's fun to stay at the YMCA. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. They have every way.
Yeah, I approve. I approve.
It's fun to stay at the YMCA. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. They have every.
I don't even like, why would I even talk about anything else? Why shouldn't I just replay this over and over? Like, what's the point of me even talking? Nobody cares about what I have to say. Just play this. This is how you make money on the internet. All right? Just replay that. Simple as that. Okay? Let's see. Brocatron says, what is this? Mosul, I don't even know what you're trying to say. Tried to car bomb conservatives protesting a mayor. Muslims, you mean? Leftist media, teenagers seen running from protesters. That is why we call them fake news. Yeah, we're going to talk about the Mamdani situation. Mark of Reality says, how about Grand Wizard Mohibaja or whatever his fucking name is? Andy Plays Game says, realistically, what would you do if you found out that Cobra was real and currently active? Lady J or Scarlet? Gosh, Lady J or Scarlet? I got to go with Scarlet. It's close, but I got to go with Scarlet. John Gets Gaming says, Alex Kurtzman for Supreme Leader. Jupiter Knight says, they were promised 72 goats, but they got Redditors. Mar Millen says, you're still talking. I need silence in this hour-long video. Oh, man. John Gets Gaming says, Dave Filoni for Supreme Leader. ACC says at Trump's shield speech, he said he doesn't like Cam as in Kamala, but it sounded like he said something else. You should find the clip. I will try to find that clip. Dynamic says, what about Stanley style CobraCast water bottle? Maybe. Beastall says, I was having a hard time choosing between y'all and the Hobbits, but hubby said we have to go see y'all. So see you there, I guess. Hey, that's awesome. That's awesome. I appreciate that. Looking forward to it. Nate the Great says, my KC Chiefs just got Kenneth Walker. Let's go. Yeah, and looks like Tua's been cut from the Dolphins, and then they signed Malik Willis, and looks like Tua might go to the Falcons. I don't know what the hell's going on. Everything's so crazy right now. All right, I'm getting distracted, so I've got to take this off the screen. I can't focus on shit when that's being constantly, rotating. Anyway, check this out. We talked about this yesterday, but the situation in New York, Mayor Mamdani started off his press conference Monday about the ISIS-inspired attack on Saturday by condemning white supremacy. Yes. Now, again, I want to remind everyone, while we're talking about all these problems overseas, this guy is the mayor of New York. The mayor of New York.
Us were home at the time. This was a vile protest rooted in white supremacy entitled Stop the Islamic Takeover of New York City. I'm the first Muslim mayor of our city. Anti-Muslim bigotry is nothing new to me, nor is it anything new for the 1 million or so Muslim New Yorkers who know this city as our home. While I found this protest appalling, I will not waver in my belief that it should be allowed to happen. Ours is a free society where the right to peaceful protest is sacred. It does not belong only to those we agree with. It belongs to everyone. I will defend that right every day that I am mayor, even...
So why don't you defend the right for white supremacy if you believe that everybody has a right to their beliefs, whether you agree with it or not? Why aren't you saying the same thing about your claim of white supremacy? Why don't you say that? You believe in the right to say things and protest things and have beliefs when it's based on one thing, but then you denounce another thing and make that the evil thing, you hypocritical piece of shit.
when those protesting say things that I abhor. Let me also be clear about something else. New York City will never tolerate violence, whether from protests or counter-protests. Many of the counter-protesters met this display of bigotry peacefully, with a vision of a city that is welcoming to all. But a few did not. Two men, Amir Balat and Ibrahim Qayyumi, traveled from Pennsylvania and attempted to bring violence to New York City. They are suspected of coming here to commit an act of terrorism. There is video of these two individuals throwing two devices towards the protest. The police department has determined that these were improvised explosive devices made to injure, maim, or worse. Thanks to the swift and decisive actions of NYPD officers at the scene, both men were immediately taken into custody and the devices they brought taken off of our streets. I want to commend the officers.
What a piece of garbage. Now we have Jake Lang unleashes on Ugandan Mayor Mamdani for being a Muslim terrorist apologist. Here is Jake Lang.
Vilified, and they won't even name the perpetrator of a mass terrorist attack on the NYPD.
The two officers who stopped the attack. What do you have to say to that?
God bless them, but did he name the name of the person who tried to kill them? What about? Okay, so yesterday in his tweet, did he name them, or he failed to name them but called me a white supremacist? 18 million impressions on it. I am a pro-white American. America was founded by white people, and they need an advocate. We are disappearing. We are being displaced. We are being replaced. I have hate in my heart for no one, but I have love in my heart for the home team. I was born a white American New Yorker, and I stand for white American New Yorkers. They deserve a home in this city. They deserve to be able to speak their mind on the streets without having bombs thrown at them. I stand for Christians. In America.
Tell me where he's wrong. Just saying, tell me where he's wrong. He said, I have love in my heart for everybody, but I am, what do you say, but I love the home team or something like that. You know what I mean? Or he said, I don't have hate in my heart for anybody, but I love the home team.
Saying that Jesus Christ is Lord is apt to get you killed by a Muslim. And the mayor, instead of addressing the issue, will obfuscate the truth, completely disavow. He will not even say the name of the radical Islamic terrorist, but he says white supremacists showed up for bigotry and we deserve to be murdered.
Whoa, 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 we got some Secret Service. Whoa, whoa.
Zora on the ground, the Muslim terrorist. I pray the name of Jesus Christ's blood over you in this city. New York and America was founded as a Christian country and a Christian city and a Christian state. And we will remain.
Right there, man.
Zora, say their name.
He's running away.
White Americans built New York, Zoran, and you're destroying it. The Italians, the Jews built New York.
Somebody said he's too emotional. I mean, listen, when you are dealing with what again, I don't know a ton about Jake Lang. But I mean, I appreciate the emotion, especially with the frustration of the situation. I'm not sure what his overall goal is other than to get his message out, but I think he's got a lot of energy, man. I think he's got a lot of energy. Is that a wrestler speaking? I just joined. It kind of sounds like a WWF style promo, which I respect.
Did you come to New York?
Why did I come to New York to wrestle? I was born in New York. I was born in Middletown, New York. I wrestled at Hunter College. This is my city. I love this city. I've given more sweat equity. I've lived in this city. My grandfather grew up 88 years ago in Far Rockaway, New York. I am a New Yorker. I am a New Yorker, born and raised. My grandparents are from New York. My father, mother, cowards that will allow radical jihadist Islamic terrorism to take over this city. This is a shame.
Zoran right now.
Oh, and first of all, let me address the media. What coward, shameful people.
Get to the side.
You know, it's interesting because you'll hear all of these people complaining and crying about what he's saying, but they will then support the same exact messaging from someone that they agree with because it's not, I mean, again, Mamdani sit there and said it point blank, you know, he's like, I disagree with the, protesters, but I stand for the right. And then at the same time, he's like, white supremacy evil, white supremacy bad. These people are absolutely pathetic. I'm sick and tired of it. Is there more of his? Here we go. Is there more? Here we go.
This was a 9/11 style terrorist attack. No word in his statement mentioned Islam, terrorism, or the perpetrators' names. But instead, he had to go on a rant, some type of therapy session about a white man named.
He's got some Alex Jones energy to him. I gotta say, I'm seeing some again. I don't know a lot about Jake Lang. I hear what he gets involved in here and there. Don't know a ton about him. But this dude is like, he's got some Alex Jones level energy.
Jake Lang. How about the radical Islamic terrorists who tried to murder multiple New Yorkers? Shame on Zoran Mandami. And we will be here and stand against him. And by God's grace, Jesus Christ will return on the throne of New York City, and we will see a revival of the Holy Spirit in the country, in the city, which makes the greatest country in the world. Yeah! America. We support our country. We support the NYPD. And Mandami is going to destroy the city. 2 months in, terror attack.
You said even Alex thinks he's cringe. Does Alex Jones say that? Because I think this is entertaining as hell. I think personalities are important. I think strong personalities are important, regardless of how you feel about them. And it's a very simple philosophy. Okay, so if you go back, obviously I'm a sports fan. I'm a wrestling fan. I'm a NASCAR fan. And the things that has always defined my interest in sports is the personalities within them. Okay. And when there are no strong personalities, whether you love these personalities or hate these personalities, it becomes boring. But when you have strong personalities that create an emotion positively or negatively, that's a good thing. This guy is creating emotions and he has a strong personality. I like that he is out there turning the needle right now.
Bombs being found outside in the street inside of cars. Who's next? A Jewish synagogue needs to be blown up. How many Jewish synagogues need to be blown up until we realize Muslims cannot be trusted with power?
Have you taken from the Jewish Coaster restaurant?
No one's reached out to me. They don't care if I get blown to the smithereens. The NYPD at every single event needs to be sweeping for bombs. They need to be looking inside the crowd at the radicals. These men were seen lighting wicks. The NYPD was looking at them. There should have been shots fired. Blow the terrorists out of the water. He is complicit. We need a total remigration. Every Muslim out of New York. Stop the public Muslim prayer call.
He's to the right of Fuentes. Well, considering Fuentes is a Democrat, I kind of feel like almost everybody is to the right of Fuentes.
They are radical jihadist prayer calls to murder innocent New Yorkers. This is what you get when you have a Muslim mayor. Within the first 2 months, a bomb is thrown outside his home trying to kill white American Christians, exercising our First Amendment right. About a vehicle can pass me easily now. Zoran Mandami, you're a terrorist sympathizer. You murder New Yorkers with your rhetoric. No, I will not. I will not. Do not touch me. I will cause reasonable suspicion of a crime. Do not touch me. Do not touch me. Zoran Mandami is complicit for the near assassination attempt and murder of dozens of New Yorkers. This man refused to name the name of radical Islamic terrorists that tried to kill NYPD officers and peaceful Christian protesters. This man ought to be ashamed of himself. We need a recall on Zoran Mandami. Zoran Mandami would have allowed all these beautiful NYPD officers to be blown to smithereens. And what does he do? He says white supremacy is the issue. No, radical Islamic terrorists that have invaded.
So this is kind of a repeat of what we had just watched, but we will continue to. There's only about a minute left, so we'll watch the rest of it.
Our country through open borders, through the Democrat regime, is the reason why he's in office. It's the reason why the average American is afraid to voice their opinion, because you will be attacked. I was attacked in Minneapolis. I was nearly killed here in New York. It's all the same perpetrators. Radical, violent leftists and their cohorts of illegal immigrants are trying to kill native New Yorkers, Native Americans. I was born in Middletown, New York. I wrestled at Hunter College. I've given my life to this city. Not to have radical Islamic terrorists try to kill dozens of NYPD and dozens of Christians without the mayor even saying his name. He blames it on white supremacy in Florida, where I'm running for United States Senate. Because in New York, you'll get bombed for
he's running for the Senate in Florida.
Speaking the opinion that I have. I can go safely on the streets of Florida and voice my opinion without radical Islamic.
So right here, and someone brought this up a little bit earlier, but right here, let me show you. The parents of the NYC bomb thrower own and somebody super chatted about this earlier, own a $2.5 million Pennsylvania home, are naturalized citizens from Afghanistan. Of course. So there you have it right there. And this is where a lot of people do get frustrated with the fact that we're intertwined over there in Middle East problems. And I do understand the concern about that. Okay. I understand. You see that we are intertwined in Middle East conflicts and we have our own problems here. I get all of that. I do. That is a valid frustration to have. It's no reason to go, I'm going to support the Democrats in the midterms because things aren't happening like I want. That's retarded. And you are retarded if your answer is, hey, Trump and the administration aren't doing everything to my liking, so I'm just going to go support the Democrats. What? Like, do you understand how stupid? Do you understand how stupid that you sound when you say stuff like that? Like, good Lord. People are absolutely retarded. Eric Guidewall says, I feel like we are living in a WWF Attitude Era universe. Yes. Absolutely. Let's fucking go. Market Reality says that Iranian dancing chick has been doing interviews on YouTube. She was on Angela Rose's channel. Yeah, I mean, she's making the rounds. I think I should only be talking or looking at her from a distance. Because my goodness, she is hot. Darth Gavel says the Quran instructs believers to lie to unbelievers. McCog says for the Pat O'Briens, we need to buy a Universal ticket or MegaCon ticket. I only RSVP. Break it down for this tard. You don't need a ticket for Universal or for MegaCon to come to the meetup. You just need to come to the meetup. You just have to go to City Walk. It's free to walk into City Walk outside of parking. Let me see. Jake Lang sounds like the Sandman from ECW. That's pretty great. At says, I bet Mom Donnie will get a second term. This is just the beginning. NYC is cooked. Probably, unfortunately. That is most likely the case. Sad reality of where we are. Let me see here. There's another one that I wanted to show you if I could find it. Keep bookmarking all this crap. And there's just way too much news at this point in time. Yeah, I pulled that up earlier, but Mamdani starts his speech out on the ISIS attack by slamming Islamophobia because that's all he cares about is playing the fake victim. These people are absolutely disgusting. And they're going to continue to be this guy, man. Like, I hope people realize just how big of a problem having this guy in this situation is. Right here.
Strategist of the Middle East Forum and former U.S. Navy Special Forces member, Jim Hansen. Jim, thank you so much for joining us. I mean, the details here are shocking. We're talking about NYPD Commissioner Jessica Tisch confirming that these devices were, in fact, real IEDs that could cause death or serious injury and reports of bomb-making material found in a car nearby. And now these two suspects are being investigated for potential ties to ISIS. Would you describe this, what you just saw on our screen right there with that potential IED being thrown, as a terror attack?
It's 100% a terror attack. It was attacking someone based on their ideology with an attempt to kill them, and obviously to intimidate other people into not using their First Amendment right to protest. Now, Jake Shields is not a good person, but what I found reprehensible
Jake Shields? Did you say Jake Shields?
Was when Mayor Mamdani decided to talk about this, he started off by smearing the victims in this terror attack before he even got to the idea that maybe it's a bad idea to conduct a terror attack in the United States. That happened with other Democratic
I can't believe he said Jake Shields. That's fucking hilarious.
leaders as well. I think you need to look at yourself and look at what's going on. I don't agree with the protesters there, but I think they have a right to say what they're saying without fear of being blown up.
Yeah, well, let me read exactly what you're referring to with Mayor Mamdani's initial post on this on X, saying white supremacist Jake Lang organized.
Which is exactly like, this is how he starts it out. This is important to understand that there is a tactic involved with this. The reason Mamdani started this out with white supremacy is to get that basically that confirmation from that crowd. All right, self-fulfilling prophecy bullshit. They all believe that white supremacy is running through America and it's white supremacy everywhere. You start out with white supremacist Jake Lang organized a protest. At that point, everything else that he says is irrelevant because the crowd that wants to hear that white supremacists are overrunning the country, they've already bought into it. Nothing else he says matters, and that is why he started it out that way.
Organized a protest outside Gracie Mansion rooted in bigotry and racism. Such hate has no place in New York City. It is an affront to our city's values and the unity that defines who we are. What followed was even more disturbing. Violence at a protest is never acceptable. The attempt to use an explosive device and hurt others is not only criminal, it is reprehensible and the antithesis of who we are. So he referred to the other side of this, and the bomb throwing is what happened afterwards. And we now know the details of what he means by that. There's a piece in the New York Post, Jim, that says Mamdani must do a lot more than condemn violence after ISIS bombs fly in New York City. If he doesn't do that, if he doesn't condemn this violence in more significant terms, what happens next?
Well, he literally incited more violence in his statement by making it that. And you look at the group that's protesting against him. They call them Get the Nazis Out of New York. You know, there has been violent incitement and rhetoric by so many Democrat leaders, we can't even keep track of it. And now people have been dying all across America because of what they have stirred up. They have riled up the crazies. And now whether it's trans assassins or whether it's, ISIS inspired.
Shit is crazy. All right, I just saw this. This is literally something that would be in a GTA let's see, protest. Let's see. So we were born and raised in New York, and we want everyone here to stay in New York. You don't get to come inside and tell, and then boom. All right, watch this. Here we go.
We were born and raised in New York, and we want everyone here to stay in New York. You don't get to come from outside and then tell everyone else.
Holy shit.
We were born in...
What the fuck, dude? New York is fucked. Are you kidding me?
Raised in New York, and we want everyone here to stay in New York. You don't get to come from outside and then tell everyone else.
I'm not laughing at the danger of the situation. I'm laughing at the hilarity of this moment with these nonsensical clowns right here. Good Lord, man. What a disaster. What an absolute disaster. All right, let's go back to this.
terrorists in New York City, we've got a problem. And I think the people on the left need to understand when the Hamas mobs were running rampant, nobody was blowing them up from the political right. They need to tamp down their rhetoric and see that they're responsible for some of this.
Yeah, I also want to ask you, Jim, about the latest on the war in Iran. And there are reports that one option on the table for President Trump is sending special forces into Iran to seize its nuclear stockpile.
Okay, well, we're not talking about that, but look at here. CBS Evening News shows images of Trump supporters when describing the attempted attack in NYC. This is how CBS decided to cover it.
Tonight, the FBI is investigating 2 men after an explosive device with bolts and screws was thrown into a crowd. It happened in New York City on Saturday during a protest that turned violent outside the mayor's official residence. CBS's Chanel Call is there with the very latest tonight. Chanel.
You have got to be kidding me.
Tonight, the FBI is investigating 2 men after an...
Are you kidding me? Showing Trump supporters. This is the mainstream media. This is how they operate. This is how they poison people's minds right there. Ghost for 47 says, happy 47th, Jeremy, birthday, Jeremy. I wish you health and success in 2026. I have a question for you, and please be honest. No sarcasm. When you should apologize and when you should not apologize. Hail 199 and MAGA, my sonny boy. Okay, well, this is very easy to answer. No sarcasm. You should apologize if you feel that you are wrong. You should never apologize because someone else feels that you're wrong. Fuck them. And I don't mean like friends or family members. I mean random people. Fuck them. If you personally feel that you are wrong and you have not been swayed by anybody else, then you should apologize. But if you don't think you've done anything wrong and somebody else is upset about it, fuck them. Don't give a fuck if they think who cares what they think? Only if you think you're wrong, not because somebody else thinks you're wrong. So simple as that. But thank you. I appreciate it. But yeah, I think that's a very simple kind of answer of like, and again, there's exceptions to the rule. So if you're talking about personal friends, close family members, all of that, okay, like they can obviously sway you and you should listen to people that you trust, but random people on the internet, who gives a fuck what they think? And nobody cares, and nobody should care. Nobody should worry about what anybody else says that has no direct connection to you. Fuck them. Ghost says, thank you, Jeremy. Of course, man, no problem. Taco Woman Sandy Rabbit says NYC is now is it Caliphate? McHawk says City Walk. You mean City Walk, Jeremy? City Walk. City Walk. And I got that one. Now we do have more of an update on this because again, this thing just continues to get worse and worse right here. Terrorist bomb suspect perp walked out of the precinct in the FBI. If I messed up his name, I apologize, but I'll try one more time. So may have got the name wrong. May have, but I'll try better next time if I got that wrong. Let's see here. No, it was correct. Okay. I figured it was. I mean, I'm pretty good at these names. I'll be honest. I'm pretty good at these names. NYPD Commissioner, it is ma'am, on botched IED bombing. The defendants were inspired by ISIS to carry out their attacks. All right. So this is It Is Ma'am. If you don't know who It Is Ma'am is, this is the New York, this is the NYPD commissioner right here. Now, again, I can kind of relate because we've all been like the gamers out there and all that. Like we've all been in a situation where we go to GameStop and we're like, you don't have the game I'm looking for. I get a little pissed off too. So this is the NYPD commissioner at GameStop.
You need to settle down and mind your business, okay? Ma'am, once again, ma'am.
I said both of you.
No, you said sir. Once again, it's ma'am.
I actually said both of you guys. It was general.
Right beforehand, you fucking said sir.
Sir? Okay.
Motherfucker, take it outside. If you want to call me sir again, I will show you a fucking sir.
I apologize.
Motherfucker.
I apologize now.
All right, let's Let's listen to what It Is Ma'am says.
Explosive devices that were ignited and deployed on Saturday during protests outside of Gracie Mansion. We can now share that federal charges have been filed in the Southern District of New York against 2 individuals, Amir Balat and Ibrahim Kayumi, in connection with that attack. The defendants are charged with attempting to provide material support to ISIS, using a weapon of mass destruction, transporting explosive materials, interstate transportation and receipt of explosive materials, and unlawful possession of destructive devices. The complaint sets forth the factual allegations supporting those charges. As alleged in the complaint, the defendants were inspired by ISIS to carry out their attack. There should be no confusion about what ISIS constitutes. It is a designated foreign terrorist organization responsible for deadly terrorist attacks across the globe and has taken credit for mass casualty attacks in Europe, the Middle East, and right here in the United States. And as alleged, both defendants have admitted that they acted on Saturday because of ISIS. As Kayumi was being placed into an NYPD vehicle following his arrest, a person in the crowd asked why he had done this. As shown on NYPD body-worn camera footage referenced in the complaint, Kayumi responded with ISIS. And at the precinct, after being advised of his Miranda rights and waiving those rights, Kayumi said in recorded post-arrest statements that he had watched ISIS propaganda on his phone and that his actions that day were partly inspired by ISIS.
But Mamdani wants you to worry about white supremacy. Mamdani wants to focus on white supremacy because that's his focus. Kevin Spears says, coming from a disabled vet, when is enough enough? How much longer are we going to tolerate this invasion? I mean, I think that a lot of Americans are fed up with this type of stuff. A lot of Americans are disgusted with it. And, you know, I think that a lot of strides have been made in Trump 2.0, but I think that at the same time, I think it's fair to say that not as much has gotten done that a lot of us hoped as well. And so I'm hoping that the Save America Act is truly, it is seriously one of the most important things that Trump has done in terms of that and in terms of just making sure this country is on the right track. That Save America Act is huge right now. And if we don't get that Save America Act pushed through, that's kind of the end game right now for this invasion. It's a big fucking deal. And I hope more and more people are realizing that. Apollo says that you're so good at pronouncing their names. I'd almost swear that you were from their homeland. Listen, man, I'm a pretty talented guy. Okay. I'm a pretty talented guy. Jimmy Ray says the agents who approved the naturalization of the parents should be charged and all of their approvals should be scrutinized. Agreed. Tay says chat lives matter greater than mod lives matter. Finally, something we can agree on. Finally, something we can agree on. I approve completely. Trump said he won't sign any other bill until he gets the Save America Act bill on his desk. I did see that. And I'm hoping he sticks with that. It's got a lot going on right now, man. And so, yeah, so Fox News is clickbaiting because they're trying to make people think that this 5:30 press conference is about Iran, and it could be. But notice how it doesn't specify that. It's just making you think that it's about Iran. I should use that as a thumbnail too. That's, you know what? I'm bookmarking that. I'm going to use that as a fucking thumbnail. That's a good fucking thumbnail. But I don't know what the press conference is about at this time. Also, check this out. This is absolutely crazy. If you guys didn't see this earlier, this is kind of unrelated from a lot of the stuff that we're talking about here, but this was a wild moment right here. Let's see, incredible. American, hang on. Nathan Martin comes out of nowhere to beat Kenyan by 0.01 seconds at the LA Marathon, closest finish ever. This is wild, okay? So this is at the end of a marathon. This is the Kenyan who is in the lead by a substantial amount. And all of a sudden, this guy comes out of nowhere. This is incredible.
Is he within eyesight from us?
He's in the last. I don't know.
Here he comes.
He comes right now.
Here he comes. So let's get right back down to the finish line so we can watch Michael cross the line here. Michael Kamau from Kenya.
Just over 2 hours and 11 minutes on the clock.
Oh, whoa.
Nathan Martin. Nathan Martin.
Nathan. Oh, my gosh. Wow. It is a photo finish.
That was insane.
For crowning of the 2026 A6 LA Marathon champion. I'm not sure.
Nowhere, because we can only see just a little bit beyond.
We have to see that playback to see exactly what happened there. Is he within?
I mean, that is crazy. Look at this.
Whoa.
Nathan Martin. Nathan Martin.
Nathan.
Dude, this guy's like, what the hell? That's insane, man. That is absolutely crazy. That's like 2 hours and 11 minutes, I think.
Oh my gosh. Wow. It is a photo finish for.
That was crazy. So yeah, I mean, we had to acknowledge that because that was just that was something else. Chat's going crazy. Kevin Spears says, the Army spent 6 years telling me and sending me to fight and hate them. Now they make them mayor here and give welfare. Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I can't disagree with anything you're saying, brother. Not at all. All I can say is thank you for your service. I feel you on that. Sean Hannity was on with Stephen A. Smith, and this topic came up right here.
You know why I'm a Republican? You can't screw up more than your buddy Gavin Newsom. I notice he's not coming on your show.
Not yet.
Not yet. I've been in a big fight with Gavin.
He certainly has not done that.
Oh, guess why he ain't coming?
I'm going to ask him what needs
well,
to be
because
asked.
you laid out for him what you're going to ask him. And guess what? He doesn't want to answer those questions. By the way, I won't take shit from him. And I live rent-free in that man's head.
Am I wrong? But don't I recall Sean Hannity having like a fun back and forth with Gavin Newsom on his show years ago? Am I wrong about that? I'd have to look that up and see. But I feel like Hannity has had him on, and Hannity has been like playful with him and respectful and all of that. Like, I feel like I've seen that. I really do.
Well,
He can't stop attacking me.
I'm going to say something that's going to get me in trouble.
Say it.
But I don't care. I will defend you to the hilt against Gavin Newsom for one reason and one reason only. That debate that he had against Governor DeSantis.
Yeah.
You could not have been more fair.
It was fair.
I'm saying you could not have been more fair. Because remember, you and I talked before that debate, and I was like, since we want to reveal our text messages,
I'm going to tell you.
Before the debate, I said, before the debate, I was like, be fair.
Your
be
career,
fair.
your career's on the line. That's what you're telling me.
I said, you can't. I said, Sean,
the country's watching.
I said, the country is watching. Yeah. You got to be fair. I said, you got to strip yourself from the favoritism role, and you got to go down the middle and give him the platform. And what did I say to you after the debate was over?
You said, I shocked the shit out of you.
You shocked the shit out of me. I said, I can't believe it. I said, you were fair.
I was.
And I was like,
it was good advice.
That's all you needed to do.
Yeah, I think he was a little, I think it was more than fair. I think that like they played it up like they were friends is kind of what I got from that. Now, again, I don't remember specifically, but it just seems like Sean Hannity was being very, very nice to him. Now, we also got this clip right here, which I think is complete bullshit. But right here, Stephen A. talks about Marco Rubio right here.
Names of 3 people in your head right now that you'd vote for president.
You won't like it. You won't like it.
I don't care.
I'd vote for Westmore, Governor of Maryland. I'd vote for Josh Shapiro, Governor of Pennsylvania. I'd vote for Marco Rubio.
Okay. talk about what is it about Marco?
He's an adult in the room. There is no questioning his qualifications for
If
the
it's
job.
Marco and anyone other than Wes and Josh, you vote for Marco over the Democrat?
Yes.
Over Newsom?
Yes.
Over Kamala?
Yes. I'd vote for Marco Rubio over anybody that's out there right now other than Wes Moore or Josh Shapiro.
Names of.
So he says Marco Rubio is the adult in the room. That's basically him disrespecting Trump. Do you think that Marco Rubio is doing anything that's not at the direction of President Trump, Stephen A. Smith? Like, it's like, that's what that is. That is a backhanded way of disrespecting Trump by saying Marco Rubio's the adult in the room. Marco Rubio would be sitting at home right now watching football and eating Cheetos if President Trump didn't pick him to be Secretary of State. All right? So let's not forget who the real adult in the room is, who the real alpha is. It's Trump. This is a nonsensical comment from Stephen A. Smith. Nonsensical, big time. Now, again, I have nothing but praise for Marco Rubio. He's been fantastic. And I was not a fan of Marco Rubio prior to him becoming Secretary of State. I wasn't a fan of him when he became Secretary of State. But he has done a great job as Secretary of State, and he has done everything that President Trump has asked of him, just as J.D. Vance has done, just as Pete Hegseth has done, and every other person in the administration that's doing a good job. They've all done a good job of handling the responsibilities that Trump has put out there. At the same time, some people I don't think have done a good job. Dan Bongino did not do a good job. I don't think Kash Patel has been particularly impressive. Obviously, Pam Bondi has been a disaster. So just because you're in the Trump administration doesn't automatically mean you're just going to be good at what you do. You still have to do a good job. You still have to carry out the vision and the orders of the president. So Marco gets credit for doing a good job, 100%. And he's done a fantastic job. And he has elevated himself in the eyes of the public 1,000%. But to try to say that he's the adult in the room is just retarded. It's just disrespectful to Trump. And this, Stephen A. is a clown. We know that. I still think he is going to probably get involved in some capacity with the Democratic side. We'll see. We'll see if that happens, but that's my guess, is that it will happen at some point. Let's see. What is this right here? Okay, so Bill Maher. I don't really know much about this Sam Harris guy, but Bill Maher presses Sam Harris to concede Trump's ballsy Iran move could have historic benefits in the Middle East. Okay.
There's got to be some limit to who you're going to have dinner with and have that affect your...
It can't be the president of the United States.
It could be, but I think it's Tucker Carlson. I think it's Candace Owens. I think it's
okay, but he's in a different category. The president of the United States, the most powerful man in the world, the man who doesn't seem to have any really fixed ideas except tariffs, and seems to very often, go by whatever the last.
Wait a minute. Trump doesn't have any fixed ideas except for tariffs. I swear, man, these people just they can't get out of their own way with their TDS.
Last person he talked to said, yeah, that's a person I do want to talk
to. In an alternate reality, he was basically like the white OJ. Like, he should have just disappeared, into Florida. It just become totally irrelevant. And we should have all just withdrawn our attention. In this world, perversely, I think you can say of him, he's getting more of what he wants than anyone in human history.
And it's also possible in 20 years, historians will be writing, nobody else had the balls to knock over Iran, and Trump did. And now the Middle East is a much more stable.
I sincerely hope that's the case. I am rooting for him.
But you will admit
you're rooting for for Trump to have history look back on him in a positive way. We all know that's bullshit from somebody with TDS. We all know that. People with TDS are actively rooting for every decision that Trump makes to fail. That's what they want. They want Trump to fail at every single thing that he does. None of them want him to succeed. None of them.
That is a possibility.
I will.
Okay.
I can't say I'm optimistic, but I'm hoping that is the case.
None of them actually want Trump to succeed. That's the bottom line. Because if they did, they wouldn't be constantly standing in his way with every single thing that he does, every single thing that he says, every decision, everything. That's what it's all about. Let's see where we're at. Got that. Nathan says, take that, Kenya. Jim P says, did Israel teach you how to say their names? I'm just asking. Cheating in a race in LA. He did seem like he had ran the whole race. Yes, they did. They have courses for us to take over there. Kevin says they don't realize or care what that does to someone. I hear you on that, brother. Many people do, though. Many people do, and that's what you have to remember. John says, I have never seen a bunch of people hate one man more. They are all on the same page, it seems. You mention his name and they lose it. He must be doing something right. Yeah, I mean, even Elon Musk talked about this a long time ago, where he said that he had friends in LA, like very, very wealthy friends in LA, that whenever Trump's name would come up, they would foam at the mouth. That's what he said, that point blank. They just cannot function right when the name Donald Trump is mentioned. They can't function. They just completely lose the ability to think logically about anything. It's crazy. It's interesting too. It's funny more than anything. And I guess that's kind of where I'm at with a lot of this, is that, you know, I enjoy people's freakouts online, their meltdowns. I just do. It's just what, I don't know if it's just entertaining to watch, especially when it's based off of something that is just completely insane. It's just something I will continue to enjoy. I can't help it. It's like showing a cross to demons. Yes, that is 100% what it is. And the things that Trump has done and the accomplishments that he's made, yet they can give him no credit for it at all. Pretty entertaining. It really is. What is this? All right, hang on. I just spoke to President Trump 20 minutes ago, and he told me this, reveals Fox's Brian Kilmeade. Iran had thousands of missiles pointed at all Middle Eastern. All right, let's just hear what he has to say. Hang on.
20 minutes ago. I just spoke to the President of the United States 20 minutes ago about the Gulf states and their involvement. And what he told me was this. Iran had thousands of missiles pointed at all these Middle Eastern countries for the last 4 months. They were going to take over the Middle East, meaning Iran. They were going to control it all. The UAE, Qatar, Oman, and Saudi Arabia. They had 1,200 missiles pointed at these countries. All these nations were afraid of Iran, and they are not anymore. And they had reason to be afraid. We have knocked the hell out of them like no other nation could, and they still have remnants left. Just wanted you to respond to that.
Well, this is why the president, one of the reasons I think he did why he did this now. Imagine we're seeing how the Iranian regime is behaving now.
Why do people keep mispronouncing Qatar? I know it's Qatar is what they like to say. Qatar. I'm like, if it's Qatar, then it's Cutter. It's Qatar, not Qatar. Dude, I know.
Imagine if the president had kicked the can like so many of his predecessors had, and at the rate that Iran was producing these drones and ballistic missiles, had tens, if not hundreds of thousands years from now. That's the shield that Secretary Rubio has been talking about, behind which they would then develop a full-blown nuclear program, which we know they intended to do. They were not negotiating in good faith. The reason President Trump went now is because they're at their weakest point, and he's not the type of president to kick the can and let future generations have to deal with a much stronger nuclear-armed Iran to then truly hold not just the region, but the world hostage.
Ambassador, they think Israel's the problem, but those Gulf states know Iran's the problem. I also asked the president about the rise in oil prices, $100 a barrel. And he said this about the Strait of Hormuz. These ships got to go through the Strait of Hormuz and show some guts. There's nothing to be afraid of. They have no navy. We sunk all their ships and all but 20% of their launchers. What is your reaction and that message to the merchant ships, and that's the Gulf states too, to start getting that oil going through there?
And if you look at what the long-term plan potentially is here, and again, I'm not going to pretend that I know that for a fact, but I do know that Trump has talked about many things over the years. And if you start piecing that puzzle together and you start understanding, the relationship with China and Russia and looking at what all the other moves Trump is making, you start to kind of see the puzzle start to come together. But these things take time. And that's why I keep bringing up the rewiring of social media and how people just don't have the patience for a plan to play out without reacting emotionally because they're not getting the instant return. They want that instant return. They want it and they want it. And I get it. We've all been victim of that at this point in time. It's rewired a lot of people's brains, but some people can still have perspective outside of that. And I think a lot of people that are looking at this have that same perspective. We're like, hey, let's give this time to play out so we can understand what the full plan is here. We also understand that this is a very complicated situation. But then there's other people who are just like, I know what Trump is doing. And this is he's a warmonger and he's George W. Bush. You're like, based on what? Like, do you have anything to base that off of? Well, he said no new wars. You're like, okay, I get it, but do you understand that they did threaten and have threatened the United States of America over and over and over and over again? This also goes back 47 years that you can point to. This has been going on. There's also information that we are not privy to. There's reports that they were involved with assassination attempts on our current president. We understand that a lot of this, we can't fully grasp all of it, but that's not Trump just starting a new war for the sake of starting a new war. The point of having a fucking military and having the most powerful military in history is to utilize it for the safety of the United States, whether that's now or 10 years from now. That's the point of it, is to limit the ability for people that hate us to cause any harm, either now, 5 years from now, or 10 years from now. Simple as that.
Well, to the president's point, we've destroyed their Air Force, destroyed their air defenses, destroyed 80-90% of their launchers and missile capability, and sank their entire Navy. This is about, I think, emotion. It's irrational. We have eliminated the threat for these both merchant ships, and commerce needs to start moving. In addition to that, the Development Finance Corporation, led by Ben Black, the president and secretary, and he announced that we'll put insurance in place just as an additional safeguard. So these ships need to start moving. I understand from talking to Secretary Wright, our energy secretary, that what they call Suez Max, which is a super tanker, has moved, and we're asking the rest to follow suit. We'll give them the protection they need, and we are knocking the snot out of Iran's capabilities. But again, one more reason why we had to do it now and not wait until they had even additional capability to not just hold the region hostage, but the world's energy supplies. Enough is enough. They've been doing this for 47 years. They started this war 47 years ago. Thank God President Trump is doing what's necessary to end it.
And to close this, Russia is helping Iran with targets against us, our facilities in Bahrain, our office buildings in Saudi Arabia where the CIA is located. At the same time, Ukraine is helping us with drone technology. What does that tell you about that conflict and whose side who's on?
Well, Russia has now lost its largest manufacturer and supplier of drones, the Shahed drones that have been so devastating. Oh, by the way, so have the Houthis, Hezbollah, Hamas, and everyone else. Russia's also lost a supplier of ballistic missiles. So that symbiotic relationship has to break. Special Envoy Witkoff has delivered a very tough message. And at the end of the day, this kind of axis of evil is going to be broken. Iran is no longer going to be a threat and no longer going to be a supplier to China and Russia.
And I think that's the biggest key that needs to be pointed out about the China-Russia dynamic. And that's why if you look at the thumbnail that I used, that's kind of a simple way to break it down for people that maybe they don't understand, or maybe they don't want to understand. I think more so than anything is people just don't want to understand. But this right here is the most, I think memes can help tell a story. And I think that this story should kind of help people understand that this is kind of what the plan is. So time will tell how this is all going to work out. Tay says, PP poo poo man for $1. Kevin Spears says, say Qatar. Jim P says, Trump is such an ass kicker. I'm glad he is fixing every F up for these past 52 years. Narco says, traditionally, it is spelled Qatar and pronounced Qatar. Western countries spell it Qatar and pronounce Qatar. Both are correct. No, it's correct how we say it in America. 1, 2, Earnhardt, 4, 5. We count like that, and we say Qatar. All right. Simple as that. Just like guitar, Qatar. 1, 2, Earnhardt, 4, 5. That's how we count in America. Oh, by the way, I saw this today, and I might need to do a crowdfund. So this is a little bit blasphemy at the same time, but bros, holy crap. All right, it's a little bit blasphemy because this is on a Dodge Charger, okay? Like, it needed to be a Chevy, but I might need to crowdfund so I can get this type of ride, okay? Because, bro, that is badass. That is badass. I know not being a Chevy is a problem. It is not being a Chevy is kind of blasphemy, but that is freaking cool as shit. Whoever's driving this, getting all the chicks. All right. Like getting all the chicks. That's awesome. Let's see. Crap car. I mean, I've never even driven a Charger, so I couldn't say, but it looks badass. Looks badass. Taco Woman Sandy Rapids says Dave Smith is a tool bag. Yeah, he is. Johnny says, I don't get it. Dale Earnhardt, the greatest NASCAR driver of all time. I don't care what anybody in the chat says. You're all fucking wrong. Earnhardt's the GOAT. Now, however, I do believe Tony Stewart is a more versatile race car driver because he can drive anything and he can win at anything. But it's specific to NASCAR, Winston Cup, Earnhardt's the GOAT. Simple as that. Now, if any retard says Jimmy Johnson, don't watch my stream. You're retarded. Okay. I can at least respect Jeff Gordon takes, but when you say Jimmy Johnson, stop. Get out of my face. Simple as that. Jeff Gordon's a close second. Jeff Gordon is not a close second. Jeff Gordon's he's an all-time great. No hate on Gordon, but he's not the second best NASCAR driver. If we're talking about the second best NASCAR driver of all time, it's probably David Pearson. David Pearson's probably the second best of all time. Then you start really getting to the like Richard Petty. Again, Richard Petty is the king, 7-time champion, but like he was driving like circles around people in the best equipment. Like nobody was even close to the equipment he had, man. So David Pearson is not the sexiest choice to say, but David Pearson's probably the second best of all time. Wait, you didn't like Jimmy Johnson? Jimmy Johnson's the most, I have nothing against Jimmy Johnson as a person. He seems like a great guy. He's the most overrated race car driver in the history of race car driving. Like Jimmy Johnson's so fucking overrated. It's not even funny. Nothing against him though. He's a great guy. I like Jimmy Johnson. Solid dude. Most overrated driver in history. Bill Herb for 50 says, I'm Australian, so my opinion doesn't matter, but I feel a military exists for a reason, and doing nothing with it is almost worse. Look at Jimmy Carter, the last president to not bomb a foreign country, but was weak as hell and led to a lot of problems. Agreed. Completely. Agreed. I mean, again, I'm not anti-using military. I am anti-using military simply for the reason to put our soldiers in harm's way so that you can line your pockets a la the George Bush administration, because that's essentially what they did. The Bush administration, full of people that were from oil and their no-bid Halliburton contracts and all that bullshit, your Condoleezza Rices, your Rumsfeld, your Dick Cheneys, all of the, like, fuck all of them. Fuck them all. And so, in my opinion, you know, George W. Bush is a horrible human being. And, you know, I'm not going to get into how much I can't stand George W. Bush, but it is what it is. Kevin Spears says it needs 25 different cars paint on it to Dale's car. Yeah, I mean, Earnhardt had a ton of paint schemes for sure. Headset Oracle says Qatar is an example of why English speakers have a history of calling places whatever we want. Yeah, I don't even know how to say that one. Too many vowels. So you're Germany now. Exactly. Let's see. Jimmy Johnson makes a mean sandwich. So, you know, I've never been to Jimmy John's. I've heard Jimmy John's is good, but Jerry missed a joke. No, I just couldn't say it. So, but I knew what he was trying to say. This D-Day Cobra guy is a geek. Man, that I don't tell people about that. One of these days they may find out I run a website called geeksandgamers.com. It's mid, it sucks. There's another one too. What's the other sandwich place I have not been to? I meant Dale hitting. I mean rubbing other cars. Rubbin's racing. Oh, I got you. I know. Okay, I see what you meant. Okay. Because he was always hitting everybody else. So it would paint schemes from their cars. Got you. Firehouse. Yeah. Firehouse or Jersey Mike's. I've never been to either one of them either, I don't think. If I have, it's been a long time. Jersey Mike's. Everybody's saying Jersey Mike's is great. Okay. Poll in the chat. Okay. So let's do Jersey Mike's. Okay. Jimmy John's. Subway. And what's another one? Firehouse. Let's see what the chat says. All right. Best sandwich sub shop. Go. Let's see what you guys say in the chat. Holy crap. Jersey Mike's is crushing it. Wow. Jersey Mike's with a huge lead. So Jersey Mike's has got a huge lead, and then Firehouse is second. Jimmy John's and Subway battling for a distant third. You know, one thing I'll say, I like the small pizzas at Subway. They have really good. Some Subways don't have it, but they have those pizzas and they have good cookies at Subway. But I don't really care for their sandwiches. Yeah, a lot of Jersey Mike's fan. That's crazy, man. Beckinator Place says people who like Jimmy John's pee sitting down. Savage. Savage indeed. Now don't tell X-Wing, because Jeremy ordering pizzas at Subway like X-Wing ordering pork chop sandwiches at Culver's. No, because I've had the sub sandwiches. So if somebody tells me to go to Subway, that would be the equivalent. If somebody's like, Jeremy, you ever been to Subway? I'm like, no. And they're like, you should go, man. Subway has the best sub sandwiches. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to go. And then I go to Subway and I'm like, guys, I went to Subway. Like, oh, really? Okay. Yeah. Hey, but what'd you think? Well, I tell you, man, I looked at the menu and I saw something I'd never seen at a sub sandwich before. I got the pizza. And you're like, why the fuck did you get the pizza when we told you to go for the subs, you retard? DK Crown says, ever since Trump renamed the Gulf, I've been waiting for him to rename the language American instead of English. Hell yeah. That would be awesome. That would be awesome. So right now, yeah, Jersey Mike's with a strong 47% winning. Firehouse, distant second, 23%. Subway is in third with 17%, and Jimmy John's is in fourth with 13%. Taco Woman Sandy Ravis says Jimmy John's blows. Not happy with Jimmy John's, apparently. Not happy at all. Yeah, 40. Well, it's down to 46% now. By the way, so Trump is set to go live about 5:30 EST. I'm going to cover that on my later stream tonight. And then I'm not guaranteeing a gaming stream, but I had a lot of fun playing last night. So I'll see who's available, and maybe we run something tonight. Pork chop sandwich for $1. Thank you. I got to tell you, Tuesday night's main event tomorrow night, going to be a lot to discuss on Tuesday night's main event. All right. A lot to discuss. And I'll just say one thing. As long as everything works out, Keenan will be happy on Tuesday night's main event tomorrow. That's all I'll say. Keenan, you'll be happy with our panel on Tuesday night's main event. That's all I can say. But it will be a very, very good panel. I cannot wait. So I'll also say that expect me to go live around 8 o'clock tonight. Look at Keenan. But anyway, expect me probably to go live around 8 o'clock again tonight. And we'll cover the press conference from President Trump. One more time before we end, if you go to Ripasend, you can get the hoodie and the hoodie that I'm wearing or the MegaCon t-shirt tomorrow night at midnight after Tuesday night's main event. That campaign ends. It's over. It's done. And we'll get these shipped out to all of you. So make sure you go check that out in the pinned post. We're going to end this poll right here. And Jersey Mike's wins in a landslide. And then Firehouse second, Subway third, Jimmy John's a distant fourth. Man, yikes. But thank you guys so much for hanging out with me for a little while, and I'll see you again for another stream a little bit later tonight. We'll cover whatever Trump is going to talk about at 5:30. And other than that, you guys have a good day. We'll talk to all of you later.